All right, yes, this is what you need. Okay, we are YouTube live. We are going to start out moving just to get warmed up, and then we will go into some deeper stretching today. Is that in your way, guys, or are you good?
Good.
Okay. All right, so you're going to start with your ball. Let's also grab either your blue blocks or your cork and put them at the top of the mat. If you have the higher blocks, go ahead and grab those. No matter what your stretch is, you'll be able to get deeper with those. Put them off the top of the mat. So you have plenty of room, but you can still grab them when you want. Okay, so we're going to start using the ball. So I've noticed in my practice that when I get my ribs flat to my leg and use the body to press the leg, it's a very different sensation in your stretch. Okay, and you guys, where you have tighter low back, tighter hamstrings, you'll have this little hump here where it's really easy to squeeze sitting bones and close and you don't have anything you're resting on. So I want you to put the ball between your belly and your legs so you can get that sensation of what it feels like for your chest to push your leg back. Hold on a second. Oops. Oh. Lovely. Okay. I want my car not to start moving. Okay. This again. So you're going to take your ball. And I want you to put it into your low belly, and then you're going to roll it up. So you're going to roll toward the thumb side like you're scraping your clothes up or your shirt up or your skin up, and really roll it in there as you come down over it. And we're going to start out in a forward bend. If you cannot touch the ground with a lot of pressure such that you could drop down even deeper into your hands and still be supporting, you need blocks there. Okay? Excuse me. You have to be able to put pressure into your blocks, and more so, it's your blocks really putting pressure back up into you, so that when you put your hands down, you can keep your arms straight, keep your tricep engaged, and then let gravity help you sink deeper so your shoulder blades slide together. If you can't feel that, let's all come up to 3. Come up to level 3 on your blocks. Back up to make sure I'm in the picture. So your back's pretty flat. You should be having to do a little bit of work to bring belly to ball and bend your knees to scoop ball into belly, okay, so that ball is trapped. Now to flatten your back, let's squeeze your blocks. Drop your chest into the shoulders so that the shoulders squeeze together behind the ribs, let your head hang. Good, and then push the blocks away to spread the shoulders out, but don't pick your belly up off the ball. Your knees bend. There we go. Drop chest into shoulders so shoulders come together. Drop your head. Good, and then push your blocks away so the shoulders come apart. Do that again. Drop chest into shoulders. Bend those knees, Cindy. I need a big bend from you. There. Now your back's flat. Now push through hands to spread shoulders, but don't round your back. Keep your belly into the ball. That's hard to figure out, isn't it? Drop the chest back down. Shoulders come together. Spread the shoulders apart, but keep your belly pushing into the ball. Now I want you to feel your transverse abs, those abs between pelvis and ribcage. Actually push those muscles out into the ball. Roll to your inner feet. Feet should be about 6 inches apart. And feel like your feet are trying to pull them out apart from up here, from the medial glute, the outer hip. Excuse me, you should feel a sensation of the hips spreading. You guys feel that? Yeah. Okay? Keep that sensation. You don't get to let that go. It looks like we're doing nothing. We're not. I'm not. No. Okay, I hope you're doing something. Drop your chest back into the shoulder blades without losing that sensation of your feet pulling them out apart, especially from the heels, which link up to sitting bones, opening back here. Then push down to your hands. Keep your belly pushing out. Keep your feet pulling apart. This should be turning on your hips. Drop your chest back down. Shoulders come together. Keep the head dropped. Keep your sitting bones reaching back by pushing the belly out and pulling the feet apart. Spread your shoulders. Bring the ribs up. Your belly doesn't get to. Good. Drop back down. Shoulders come together. Better. Keep the belly out when your shoulders spread apart. It's just pressure in your hands that spreads shoulders. Feel shoulder blades slide along that fatty tissue on the side of the ribs. Good. Go at your own pace. Back and forth slowly. Each time you drop down, try to sink a little deeper and actually use the upper back muscles to close the shoulder blades together behind the ribs and push them down further. Then squeeze with fingers on your blocks, push through hands to come up. Keep the belly pushed out, keep the feet pulling apart. Wherever you're at, do about 5 or 6 more of these. Deepen your range of motion on either end. Do not pick your belly up off that ball. Keep the belly pushed down into the ball the whole time and go as slow as you need to coordinate that movement. Good. Now sit your hips back further. Keep your back flat, belly into the ball. Good. Bring your blocks forward, reach them away from you. Good. Now bend your knees. Feel how that stretches your back if you put weight in the ball. You should feel a nice stretch in your leg. Bend those knees, Cindy. Bend the knees, bend the knees. There we go. Feel that stretch? Keep bending. There you go. How are we doing? Now push your right leg straight back. Your ball should roll a little to the right. Nope, don't step it back. Press the knee back, straighten the knee back. Good? And then bring it back. Push your left leg straight back with your foot. Your ball should roll a little to the left. Feel that stretch in the back of your left hip? Your hips should stagger. Bend the knee. Switch. Use your ribs to push the ball back and push your right knee back. Feel that stretch in the back of the hip more than the hamstring. Yeah. Bend the knee. Use your belly and your ribs to push the left leg back. Your left hip should stagger behind the right. Bend the knee. Use your belly to push the ball back, push your right hip back. Good, now lean your hips back past the heel. Still using belly to push the ball back. You're feeling that stretch in the low back and hips and that side joint. Nothing should hurt. Bend the knee again. The ball's going to shove that ball, or the knee's going to shove that ball up into your gut. Go the other way. Belly pushes the ball back. Tip your hips behind the heel. Reach into your left heel as your ribs push the ball back further. Yeah, now everybody let your head drop if it's up. Switch, use your belly to push the ball back on the right side. This should be starting to feel good. Let your left knee cross your center line to the right a little bit and really push the ball back. Feel how that deepens the stretch and starts bringing it into the side of the rib cage. Switch. Use ribs to push the ball back on the left. Right knee comes across center, pushing the ball a little left. Going to add a twist. Bring your right shoulder blade down. Your right elbow bends toward the floor. Good. Bring your left arm up and open. Now bring it over your head to the parking lot, but reach your hip back as far as you can. You should feel that entire left side open up. Yeah? Okay, feet are still active. Don't let your feet die. Bring it back to the middle. We're standing in the feet. Okay, roll your ball to the right. Use your ribs to push the right hip back. Use your left knee to push the ball across to the right. Drop your left shoulder down. Left shoulder blade comes under the ribs. Right shoulder blade comes on top of the ribs. Bring the arm up. Okay, let's everybody bring it back down. Bring your block back right under the shoulder. Tent your fingers on the block, put your elbow over your hand. Okay, the shoulder blade has to come up onto the back of the rib cage. So you can either look under it to bring it up, but you have to pull the shoulder blade back toward the spine. There we go, there we go. I see two people got it. Okay, that shoulder blade has to come back toward the spine. Okay, now bring your hand up, touch your own shoulder. Elbow up and toward the parking lot, toward your head, and then back. Feel the upper back muscle. Now extend from there. There we go. Good. Now reach forward and reach out of that shoulder blade. Feel the difference?
Much.
Bring it back to the middle. Good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to come out of this position. Okay. Push back on the ball with your rib cage. Right knee pushes the ball a little left. Drop your right shoulder blade down. It literally hangs down off the back on the right side. Bring left block under you. Tent your fingers to get height. Elbow right above your hand. That's going to bring your shoulder blade forward on your ribs a little. Then you're going to pull the shoulder blade back onto the rib cage. Shoulder blade towards spine. Then bring your hand to the shoulder. Shoulder blade towards spine. Actually, you're squeezing it toward the other one. Then bring your arm up using that upper back muscle. Now drop your hips back. Both shoulders feel like you're squeezing together and sliding up the spine. Then bring it forward, reaching out of the shoulder blade. Yeah, you guys feel the difference? Come back to center. Good. Really matters where you initiate your movements from. All right, we're going to take the ball to the right. You're still going to have that ball scooping skin up. Keep it in your right leg. We'll use blocks for this. Step your left foot back. Actually, let's go to Warrior 3 first in your step back. Use your ribs to press the right knee back. A little mean to do this in a balancing posture to start with, but that's okay. Now bend your knee. Feel the knee. Shove the ball up into your ribs. Keep your ribs pinching down on your knee. Feel that? Keep the foot grounded. Now put your back toes into the mat as far back as you can reach them and actually flare your toes out like your toes are reaching for the ground. So you're hiking the toes back to you, reaching the ball of the foot and then put it down. Foot's now ready to hold that weight. Good. Okay, bring your blocks back right under your shoulders. You should have a pretty long stance here. If you didn't get your step long enough, adjust it now. And then you're going to drop your hips down. Keep your back leg really strong. Bigger stance. Foot further back, Cindy. Foot further back. Todd, foot further back. So your knee shouldn't go too far past the foot in front. It should be over your metatarsals, right in the middle. Okay? Now when you sit down, I still want the ball pinched between the leg and the ribs. That's what helps you bring the chest up, shoulders up. Good. Sit your hips lower. Get that stretch. Good. Back foot is strong. Back leg. Quad is engaged to keep the leg straight. Hip is a boundary you're sitting into. Good. Now we're going to press the ball back. Use your ribs to press the leg straight. Yes. There we go. You guys feel that stretch? Sure. Good. Bend the knee. Use the knee to press the ribs up. Make your upper body upright. Roll shoulders back a little. Good. Use the body to press the ball back. Knee back. Leg back. Hip back. There we go. Bend the knee. Is this feeling a little different than it normally does? A little bit? Bigger. Okay. Push back with that ball. Drop your head. Elbows should bend if you're easy in this. Bend to come forward. If you don't need your blocks, you can go to the floor. You can go to second level on the blocks. Bring it back. Fold over it. Keep the pressure of your ribs into it. Yes. Feel the stretch in the hamstring. Okay. If you're not already in third level, go back to there. Now you're going to roll your left hip forward, just like we always do. Yep, and then roll it open to face me. Roll your left hip forward. Good, roll it back open. Let's simplify this. Hop your foot forward and turn it out 45 degrees. Okay, blocks a little further forward so you're long. Make sure that ball is still in there. Okay, now roll your left hip forward. So your left hip comes forward like your left frontal hip is folding into your right groin. Your right hip has to hug back. Let's go kind of around and back out of the way. Your ribs have to reach forward, belly trying to roll the ball forward, then roll back. There we go. Left hip comes forward. Good, and then roll back. Last one, left hip forward. Good, get your ball up in there. Now fold down over it, belly pressing the ball back so your right hip goes back more. Left hip forward more. If you can't get your left hip forward, shorten the back foot so that you can. There we go. Now that stretch goes right to the back of the hip more. Yeah? Good. Breathe. Drop your head. If you want to reach for the ground, you can. If you have a deeper stretch and you can touch your belly with your, or you can touch your belly to your thigh, you can go there. If they don't touch, keep the ball. Okay. And bring it back up. Go ahead and bring that foot forward. Blocks forward so you have torso length if you put your chest over the blocks or your shoulders over the blocks. And move your ball back to the middle, scooping core up. Good. Okay, before we go to side two, let's actually have your strap nearby. You can use a yoga strap or a TheraBand for this. Okay, put your ball up into the low belly. Really get it in there so it's your low belly, your pelvic bowl aimed down that's squeezing the block. So none of this pelvic bowl up and back. If you feel pelvic bowl up and back, you're like, there's space there, my ball won't stay. Right? It's got to be pinching because your sitting bones are aimed back. Okay? Keeping your ball in there, come as high as you can on your fingers. Bend the knees lower so your hips come down. Bend, 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 bend. Once you feel pretty upright with your upper body, bring your arms back. Roll your shoulders together. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. If you can reach your hands, you can pull your palms together to help with this. If you can't reach your hands, grab your strap, hold onto it, roll back, and use the tension of the strap to help you. Okay. Todd and Cindy, get your strap. Okay. So you can't just barely reach your hands so your elbows are wrapped around the ribs. That isn't it. You have to be able to use that strap to pull the shoulders up and back. Squeeze them together, lifting the chest up. Now sit deeper in the hips. Good. If you want to go further, you can pick up the heels and work your feet and bring your ankles forward. If not, just make sure you're in your upper back. You should feel the muscles here, like little parallel lines right under the shoulder blades. Yeah? Yeah. We got that? Yeah. Now drop your head out of the way. Keep shoulder blades pinching together. Now, if you don't have the heels up, pick up one heel. Push the ankle forward. Come on, get on your toes. Keep the sitting bones back. Keep your shoulder blades pulling. Push your belly into the bottom. There we go. Bring it down. Switch. Other heel up. Or you can do both. Whatever you want to do. Bring it back down. Good. Now tip forward. Chest leading. Head upright now. You are going to be shortening the neck a little. Now drop your head as you drop your ribs. Your shoulder blades should feel like they can come up and over the hump of your ribs and get forward. If they can't, on your strap, widen your hands until they can go forward. I don't care if you're holding your strap 3 feet apart. I need your shoulder blades to start coming down the slope. That's too easy, too far. What happened there? Bring your hands behind you. Okay? Bring your arms up. There we go. Drop your head down. You got it. Feel how your shoulder blades are now sliding down the slope of the ribs toward the neck, toward the floor. Now bend your knees deeper so your back doesn't feel like it needs to protect. Keep the arms forward. Yep. Feel how that pulls apart. If your arms stay forward as you're bending your knees down, it's stretching your back. Do you feel this? Mm-hmm. Good. Who's getting tired? Bring the arms back. All right, side 2. You guys feel that though? Yeah. Okay, so what's going on there? You can stand up for a minute and you want to take a break. Your lats attach in the lumbar spine. They come under your shoulder blade and attach to the upper arm. So if and only if you get the arms to come up and over that hump of the ribs so they can slide down toward the floor, then when you bend the knees with the ball in there, it makes you round the other way. So you're literally pulling that apart. Yeah? The ball is what you're rounding over. Yeah. But the strap's important too, because if you can't get your shoulder blades past here, gravity's not going to help you stretch them down. So you have to widen the hands enough that when your shoulder blades are coming forward, they're coming down, which is really up the ribs, right? Mm-hmm. Toward the floor, and gravity helps stretch you that way. Then when you bend and round over the ball, you're pulling them apart. Right. You see that? So this is a really good stretch to do at home for shoulders, back, spine. Everything's going to open if you have the physics right. Hands have to be falling toward the floor, hips bend toward the floor, and you have that opening in opposite directions. If either half is missing, you don't have the opposition to get the opening. This is a good one because it's kind of yoga for dummies. You're going to get that opposition if you get the physics right, that's the point. This is good for you. All right, here we go. No. Scratch that. There's no filter here. It just comes out. All right, let's try side 2. And that's because you're
for tight people like us.
And then to open up the back where the fists are. All right, here we go. Put your ball on the left side. I'll be thinking about that one for a day or two. And pull up on the skin. Get it lodged in there. So if we're not getting this, you can also deflate your ball a little bit, but I really want you to get it in the crack. So there's nothing in there that ball isn't touching between your hip flexor and the ball. Okay, you can use blocks. We're going to go ahead and bring your right leg straight back. Now, most people when they bring the leg back want to lift the hip up because they want to sit on the bottom hip and rest. Don't lift that hip up. Drop it parallel to the floor. Let's actually play with that so you can feel it. Drop the hip lower than parallel. Now reach it back out of the psoas, out of the low belly, out of the hip flexor. Good. Now squeeze your ball with the other side. Rest on that. Feel the difference? Yeah. So instead of making a shelf and squishing your hip and your medial glute, rest on your ball and put the hip in alignment, even a little lower than alignment. Now reach back out of your low belly. Feel the difference? Mm-hmm. Shrug shoulders forward a little. You'll actually get a stretch in your ribs by relying on the ball. Yeah? Yeah. Now, reach with the toes, fan them out. So they're already in the shape they're going to take when they step down. Bring your blocks back with you under your shoulders. If you didn't get fur enough back, I'm insulting people when I can't talk. Now you're going to spin your toes back and forth a little bit. Just little wiggle, 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 wiggle until you're really far back. Your heel should be right above your toes. Your sole of your foot should be flat like it's against the wall. That's a really pretty stance for you. Okay, mine's too long now because I wiggled, so I'm going to pull my front foot back. All right, here we go. Now you're going to press your hips down. Arms are strong, creating a floor, and you're going to try to drop your hips down lower than your ribs. You're still in that ball, okay? And as your hips drop, your foot is what's strong back there. Your quad is strong, creating this floor, but you're sitting deep. We haven't moved a lot, but are we sweating? Are we feeling what we're supposed to feel? Todd, longer stance. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the back foot. Yep, good. Or hop it, it's more manly. And don't wiggle. All right, keep pushing the back hip down. Good, how are we doing? Getting tired? Okay, what's getting tired? Right now, if something starts to shake and it's not your back foot, I'm going to be really upset. Roll your right hip down. Your back foot should be working hard. Now push with your ribs against the front leg. My back heel didn't drop. right? My back foot's still holding its own, yeah? And my chest is pushing against the front leg. My ribs, I should say, floating ribs are pushing down, stretching the front leg while my back foot is ensuring that my right hip stays forward. There we go, we feeling that? Now round over it. If you're super easy in this stretch, turn fingers in, put elbows forward, and open your wings a little bit. Bring the shoulder blades forward. Same concept we had with the band earlier. Good. Good. All right, then go ahead and bend the front knee. Use your hips. Push down into the ball. Push down into the floor. Keep your back foot strong. Keep your quad strong. Push the hips down. Roll your shoulders back. Find those same upper back muscles and see if you can actually find it here where shoulders roll back. And you pinch upper back, but keep ball into the belly, into the ball. Yes, you feel those upper back muscles? Good. Now try to use that. When you push your ribs down, keep your upper back muscles engaged. Good. And then fold down over it. Good. One more time. Bend the front knee. Come on down the hips. Back foot strong. Good. You guys should feel the stretch in this hip flexor and psoas region. Your low back should be totally protected because your ball is there. Good. And then push it back. Okay, let's hop the foot in and a little out to the right and shorter. Okay? Now roll the right hip forward. There we go. And then roll it back. If you're having trouble rolling your hips, come back to your toes. Roll the hip forward and spin your heel out to the right. When you roll the hip back, spin your heel in. That'll help you feel what it feels like to roll if you haven't done a lot of my classes and you don't know how to roll your hips. Okay, if you know how to roll your hips, you can plant the foot at a diagonal, roll forward, roll back. Now when you roll back, push your belly down into the bowl to push into the bowl. Into the ball to push back in the bottom hip. That'll help eject sitting bone back away from femur in that side you're sitting on. I see you guys all the time because we don't want to keep flat here, or not being able to get flat here because you're like, ooh, that's too big stretch, right? You want to feel that push back. Feel that? That gets up in the top of the hamstring where your hamstring attaches in the sitting bone, which if you're a glutes and low back person, that never gets to stretch because your glutes are constantly squeezing the sitting bones together and keeping this rounded. And you never get to that shape, which stretches right here, which means you look like it's squished all the time. All right, so stay in what is essentially pretty close to triangle legs. Let's bring your right arm up. Keep your belly pushing your ball down. Good. You guys feel that pushing your leg back, hip back? Good. Now sweep the arm forward. Keep the belly pushing, leg back, hip back. Good. Hand to your block. Come back to toes. We getting this a little more? Roll the hip forward. Good. Try to push off your back foot. Come right back to your warrior. Keep belly down. Good. Let's try standing splits. We'll pick it up on the other side. You can move your blocks if you're easy to come down. Drop down over the leg. Good. Now everybody note your hip. Did you roll it open to make a shelf to make this easier? Put your hip back down. You want your leg to go higher, you do it by dropping your chest lower. And bring it in. Good. Move your ball to the right. Just going to pick up that standing split. Ribs push down, and it should feel like it ejects the leg back. The more you push down, the more the leg swings back. Okay? Good job. Breathe. And bring it back. Good. One more time in the middle. Ball way up in the low belly. Knees bent. Grab your strap. Strap behind the back. Hands at least mat width, even if you really don't need it. And if you know your shoulders are super loose, go a little tighter. Heels apart. Now bend your knees deep until you almost feel upright, and then sit back into heels a little. Now heels, pull your mat apart. Think of sticking your butt back and pushing your belly, your transverse abs into the ball. Not arching back as much as pushing transverse abs out. Then roll your shoulder blades back, feel those upper back muscles. Good. Sit down deeper. Sit, sit, so you sit and come more upright. Sit down. There you go. Feel your upper back. Good. Now push back with your ribs on your ball. This is how you dive into Uttanasana, forward bend. Then drop your head, let your arms drop forward. Good. Keep the ball pushing your legs back. Let your head drop. There we go. Bring your arms straight to the ceiling. Straight to the ceiling. Lift your shoulders up away from your ears. Good. Shoulders up there. Feel how long the neck gets. Shoulders up. Hands to the ceiling. Shoulders up to the ceiling. Up, up, up. Good. Now drop them to your ears. Good. Shoulders up to the ceiling. Reach up, reach up. There we go. Head down. Arms up. Drop them to your ears. Good. Drop them all the way forward, keeping shoulders dropped to ears. Good. Just holding the strap in your thumb now. And bring the arms back. Get rid of the strap. Good. Get rid of the ball. How are we doing? That's good. Figuring this out a little more?
That was good.
Feel the support in your back?
Yeah.
And we're sweating, yes? Okay. Good. So we're getting warm because we're going to stretch deep. We want a lot of warmth created. Okay, go ahead and bring your blocks onto the mat. I'm going to stay sideways. You can face me if you want, because you want your feet on the mat. You're going to open your feet. Actually, let's start with the feet mat width apart. We're just going to make some room in the hips. Heels a little wider than toes, and just shift your hips left, both legs staying straight, and shift back to the right. Okay, if glutes stay squeezed and hips stay tucked under, this is going to feel like you're wagging your butt around and your gym abs pooch out. So let's let the hips reach back. Pretend you still have that ball where the belly is. Push your transverse abs out. I actually want you to make your transverse abs push down. Make a little pregnant belly. Now drop the chest into the shoulder girdle a little bit. And then shift your hips and ribs and shoulders to the left. Everything goes left. Your right hip hangs a little. Now keep the belly pushing out. Shift back to the right with belly pushing out. That's better. Shift back to the left. Keep belly pushing out. Good. Shift back to the right. Keep belly pushing out. Good. Shift back to the left. You guys feel the difference? Keeping belly pushed out. Okay, and ribs dropped. If you have trouble dropping ribs, you have to go back to some earlier tapes where elbows are on the floor and learn to just let your rib cage sink until shoulders come together. All right, turn your feet out and walk them out heel toe until they're like, I don't know, maybe a foot wider than that on either side, maybe less if you're really tight. Heels are wider than toes. Okay? Your heels are your link to your sitting bones. I don't want sitting bones closed and hips tucked under with that glute squeeze, shoving your hips forward, shortening the abdominal space, shortening the spine. I want sitting bones back. So think of pushing belly to the floor and then pick it up. That's just muscles. I don't mean like arch your back arm. You actually push out your transverse abs. Like one client said, like pushing out a baby. Sorry guys, I can't even know how to tell you.
Yeah,
and then pick it back up. Push the belly out, push the belly out, and then pick the belly up. Now when you pick the belly up, look at me, this shouldn't happen. It's just internal muscles. Push out, pick up. It's just the muscles. Yeah? Okay, so push the belly out. That's your transverse abs. They do that. That's a movement they'll do. Then pick the belly up. Better. Push the belly out. Keep the belly pushed out. Heels, pull the mat apart from up here. Keeping belly pushed out. Now tip your hips back behind your heels. Do not let your tail tuck under. This is like the opposite of what we want to see. Good. So I don't care how far back you can tip. You don't have to look like me. My movements are exaggerated. I'm trying to show you. If you come back here in this shape, you've completely killed it. Now you're hurting your low back, okay? So I don't care if you only tip to here. That's where your stretch is, right? You should feel this stretching. If you don't feel this stretching, something's very wrong, yeah? Okay. Now we're going to get into the front of the hip. Keep heels pulling apart. Keep belly pushed out. And then bend your knees, pushing your belly down between the groin. Keep the belly pushed out. Yep, feel how that starts stretching the front of the hips a little bit too? Yep, keep the belly pushed out and sit deeper. You start to feel kind of like a sumo wrestler. Although I'm pretty sure there's this hanging, not pushed out, I don't know. Okay, upper body more upright. Anna, bring your head up, bring your blocks back to you. I want your chest a little on top of your belly. So now we're going to roll the shoulder blades back and together. Actually pinch your shoulders together behind your ribs. Up, up, up. Bend the knees deeper so your chest is over your hips. You guys feeling feet and ankles? Yeah. Good. Breathe. Okay. Now, keep the shoulders pinched together. Try to pull them down away from ears and reach the top of the head forward so you lengthen your neck. Keep heels pulling apart. Keep knees pulling apart. Keep belly pushing down. Yes, are we feeling that? Front of the hips open. Sitting bones are super open, right? Now, without letting your spine round, you're going to use your foot. Toes right, toes grab the mat. Push your right knee straight back. Good. Without letting that happen and everything goes away. It's not a look. It's keep my shape and can I simultaneously push my leg into that stretch. You guys feel that? Good. Keep the belly pushed out. Get your upper body up. Get on top of it, Cindy. You got those blocks there for a reason. Straighten your arms out. Now let your ribs dip if you want something to dip. There we go. Now bend that knee again. Sit deeper. Good. Belly pushed out. Get your blocks closer to you, Cindy, and straighten your arms. There we go. Now let your ribs sit down. Because if the ribs sit down in the shoulders, belly's going to drop more. Right? If your ribs drop below the hips, back's going to round. So this is your boundary. Keep the arms strong. Dip your ribs down. If you've got more stretch, you just dip your ribs deeper. Push your left leg back. That's it. There. Feel like it lengthen the hip. Rebend. Push the right leg back. I should start seeing this get longer. Rebend. Push the left leg back. Hip goes backwards. Straight back, not up. Rebend. Right hip goes backwards. Straight back, not up. Rebend. Left foot. You're really really using that foot to hold the ground. Rebend. You feeling this?
Yeah.
You should feel nothing bad in your low back. Now grab the mat with your toes, pull these in a little, lift your low belly up, and then round your hips under by reaching knees forward. My heels are still pulling apart, but my knees are coming together and reaching forward. Now lift your low belly up. This should feel good in your low back. Round, round. Now I'm letting you round and nobody wants to round. Knees forward, knees forward.
You're tricking us.
Okay. Push through your hands to spread your shoulders and lift your ribs up. Now that goes with this shape. Now drop your ribs back down, reach your sitting bones back by digging through heels, pull your mat apart. Good, feel the difference? Do it again. Knees pull in, heels still pull apart. Push down through hands, pick ribs up a little, then pick up the muscles into the space you made and sweep the knees forward. That's different. Don't squeeze together. See how my gym abs pushed out? There's no room anymore. You're shortening spine. And then sweep back. Good. Turn your left toes out to the left, straighten both legs. Good. You can heel toe it in if you don't have that stretch. Everybody heel toe it in, just touch with your right foot. Rock your hips to the right. Feel that left groin stretch? Both legs straight. Now pull with your left toes on the mat. Keep the ribs dropped, arms straight. Shift your hips left. And back to the right. Same thing, keep the belly pushed out now. Shift your hips left. And back to the right. Good, stay right. Bend your right knee, keep hips reaching back. Bring your blocks back so they're still under you. Roll shoulders back. Good, now try to pick up your right heel. We've done this before, we're just breaking it down today. Work this foot in the air, get this foot in the air. Good, your back's in the right shape. Don't tuck that tail. Do not squeeze your sitting bones, thank you. Good. Okay, good, bring the heel back down. Now push the knee back to take the hip back. You feeling that? Better, good. Now keep the knee pushing back. Use your foot, this heel digging into the mat, this foot pulling to switch hips to the other side. Bend your opposite knee. Good, keep this hip back, like you're making a little sweeping motion with this foot, right hip back. Yep, good. Now keeping your right hip back, bend the knee while you're down there, so your sitting bones come apart. Good, feel that space in the hips? Good, good chest on top of the hips. You feel the difference there? Good, now straighten your left leg. Like we're creeping. I watch Pocahontas with the kids. They're walking around like this. Turn around, right? Okay. All right, do it again. Bend the knees. Then I read the true story. It's awful. And then drop your hip back. Good. Bend the knees. Feel sitting bones open. Yes, you should feel like the back door is open here. All right? Straighten the other leg back. Good. Now straighten both. Keep the back door open. As soon as those sitting bones close in your back pulls, we're just done. Good. Feel tie your feet in. A little break. Good. Feet into Tadasana. Heels are going to be about 1 inch apart. Bring your arms back. Now watch me. If you instantly close your sitting bones and shove your pubic bone forward and your tailbone under, you just put all your weight in your hips and low back and push your gym abs out. Keep your knees bent. Keep your sitting bones back and your door open. Roll the upper back back. Think of shrugging your shoulders forward to get long in your sides. Then pinch the shoulder blades together. Now stand up with your flat back in your hips, core, and upper back. Do you feel the difference there? Okay, so if you're flowing, you're in a vinyasa class, and you have this Uttanasana and then flat back all the way up. If you're not in a flat back and you're here, it's just all bad. This is just squish, 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 squish. Oh, I'm going to rejoin the class. Right? You see the difference? So flat back feels like long through the sides. I don't care if you have to shrug your shoulders forward, then roll them back. Flat back is super open in here, lots of length in your spine. See the difference? Huge mistake I see all the time. Okay, here we go. That was your break, by the way. Well, actually, we'll do Tadasana. Toes, big toes touch, heels 1 inch apart, hands in prayer. And it's not just they're touching and you're happy. Push them into each other, okay? I want you to engage your pecs. Keep your elbows reaching a little forward right now. That's going to pull your shoulder blades off the mat. Bring your weight forward until your toes have to grab the mat. Stop you from falling. Stop. Do not counter stick the butt back. That's not it. Bring your hips forward as much as you bring your chest forward. I don't want your butts back. Yes, good. Now you gotta lift your low belly and not fall on your face. Feel that? Now use your heels to pull the mat apart to keep this open, but keep the belly lifted as much as you're opening that. Feel that opposition? Good. Now stay rolled to your inner feet. Keep the knuckles down, but lift and spread your toes a little bit. There we go. Keep the low belly lifted. Keep your weight forward. Come on, lean forward, paddle surfer over there. There we go. You can do this. If anybody can do this, I expect you to look like you're skiing or something. All right, stay forward. Come on, feel those feet. Is everybody feel your feet working?
Yeah.
Yeah, your calves should be stopping you from falling on your face, quite literally, and your low belly. Come on, lean forward. Now, pull your shoulders back and up a little bit, like somebody picking up a dog at the nape of the neck. I want you to find shoulder blades pulling together. Good. Now bend your knees. Let your low back rest. Underneath, underneath. Keep the belly lifted. See how much easier that just got? Now roll your shoulders back and down. Good. Fix your ribs up a little bit. Feel the difference? Reach straighten the legs without lock. Keep the belly lifted. Open elbows, but keep the shoulders back. For this opposition, shoulders back, elbows out. Yes. Feel upper back now. So a lot of people don't use their upper back. They just abuse their lower back and hips, but upper back is like, I'm good. You guys do it. All right, here we go. Arms up. Feel your upper back move. Feel your shoulder blades slide up the side of the ribs as you reach. Now counter bend the knees. Let your hips drop the other way. And then let your back round, but keep your belly lifted up and over. Good. So you have a support in here. It's not the same as this. See the difference? There's a support in here. Yeah? Now when you come up, keep the belly supported. Keep it sucked up. Push your feet as you bring your arms up. Use the upper back to pull your arms back. Not throw hips back and hope that gravity will help when you get there. Pull with upper arms. Keep your tail under a little. Yes, feel the difference? All right, sweep your arms back. Shrug shoulders up the sides of the body. Bend knees, heels pull apart to open sitting bones. I know you're in your neck, I don't care. But at least you're not in your low back for once. Feel the difference? Now roll your shoulders back. Get your upper back engaged. Bend your elbows up to the ceiling like somebody's picking you up by the elbows. Palms face down. Shoulders roll up. Feel the upper back? Good. Drop all the way down until your ribs touch your belly. And now let your elbows come out and down. Drop your head. Good. Upper back is coming to the party more, yeah? All right, hands back to block. Open your feet. Go wider than your mat right off the bat now. You should be using your back muscles. Your back probably will be sore tomorrow, but I hope it's more in your upper back than in your lower back for sure. Okay? All right, here we go. Turn your, what are we doing now? Left
Right.
toes out to the left?
Right.
Right. Right toes out to the right? Yes. Okay. Turn your right toes out to the right. Think of a warrior 2 feet. Your heel will cut right through the inner arch of your left foot. Okay? Now, let your right hip drop and sit your butt to the left, hips go left. Okay, in order for this to feel like it works and you're not just wagging your butt around, you have to open your spin down. There we go. Now your hips release. You also have to have some weight in your hands. If all your weight's in your feet and your hips, you're not going to go anywhere. Squeeze the blocks with your fingers. Your hands should not be dying. Shift your hips to the left. Better, easier, right? Now use your right toes. Grab the mat with them. Pull with your right foot. Shift your hips to the right. There we go. Keep your body weight forward. Shift your hips and ribs to the left. Everything goes left. Shoulders left too, Cindy. There we go. Feel those left ribs stayed open more. Good. Now shift back to the right. Everything goes right. So I don't want to see shoulder and hip close off. Okay. And shift everything left. Good. Everything left. There we go. There's hip back. Feel the difference? Shift everything right. Keep both hips back. Keep your ribs long. There we go. Now drop your hips back behind your heels. Good. Now counter reach your blocks forward. Think of a down dog with warrior 2 feet. Super odd, I know. And then drop your head through your hands. Good. Feel the stretch in the back? Good. Now, take your hips to the left while you're here. Bend your left knee deep while you're here. Keep bending. Feel that stretch? If your sitting bones are trying really hard to stay together, all you're going to feel is pressure in your low back. Re-straighten your left leg. Bend your right knee. Now bend them both. I need the back door open. Bend both knees. Bend both knees. There we go. Feel the difference there, Cindy? Yeah, when you do that? Okay, now leave the back door open. Bring your blocks back under you. Stack them on your shoulders. You'll have to bend arms for there to be room. Now keep hips where they are. Push with your arms to bring the ribs up. Keep the hips down so you can get your ribs on top of the hips. No, stop. Yes. This can't happen. You have to get this out of your kinetic vocabulary. Keep the belly dropped. Keep the hips down. Bring the chest up by straightening the arms. Drop your hips. Drop your hips. Bend your knees up, knees. Yes. There we go. Now pull your shoulders back. Upper body. That's better and different. Feel that? Good. Now push back with the right leg to drop the right hip back and left. So push back. There you go. Feel the difference? Feel how long this right side is. Keep your right arm strong and your right shoulder a little forward to open that even more. Right shoulder forward. Yep, good. Bend both knees, back door open. Straighten the left leg, pushing the knee and hip back. Keep left shoulder a little forward. Feel that open the rib. There we go. Feel that length between ribs and hips. Now push them both back, same length on both sides. Push both legs straight back. Good. That's it. Now shift your hips left. Good, and then back to the right. Good. You guys feeling the difference? Stay left. Bend your left knee. Blocks are close to you, so you're holding the upper body upright. Good. Now pick up your ankle. Ankle and knee forward. Ankle and knee forward. Pick up that left ankle. Left heel up. Get it up, get it up, get it forward. Don't, not this, none of this. You can't help your foot like that. I don't care if it only comes up an inch, it's got to be in the foot. Now hips back, there you go. Drop into your hands, shoulders together, and bring it back down. Good. So if your foot doesn't want to work, your hips are like, okay, we'll make a little shelf and push the heel forward. That's really bad for hips and low back, right? There's got to be an opposition of hips are back, belly's long, foot's on its own. Yeah? That's going to help all your postures. All right, come back to the middle. Turn your feet, heel toe it in. Really good job. How are we doing? Good. All right, last one, and then I promise we're going to go to the mat. Grab your ball again. Okay, so breaking some things down today. How are we feeling? Yeah? Warming up? Okay. Ball open the low belly. Pull up, bend over it again, just like we started. Move your blocks out in front. Heels are going to be about 3 or 4 inches apart, maybe 6. Toes are less. Toes are maybe 4, heels are 6. Okay, push belly down into the ball. Sit your hips back. And now go ahead and straighten your right leg more than the left. Keep the left knee bent, just like we started with. Yes, and use your belly to push the ball back further. Let's feel that a little deeper. Now shrug your shoulders forward a little bit. Turn your fingers to face in and bring your elbows out to the sides and up. Yep, feel how that gets in your upper back a little? If you drop the head down, it won't be so much in your neck, it'll be more in your upper back just below the nape of the neck. Good, so I want elbows to fly up and forward and hips to reach back. Yes, can we find upper back here? Switch, bend the right knee. Use your ribs to push the left hip back, right knee comes across. Elbows up and forward, head down, chest back. In order to get shoulder blades at the top of the back of the ribs, you gotta drop your chest back. Switch, keep those upper back muscles. Switch, keep the upper back muscles. Go back and forth, now rolling your hips back and forth. How far across can you push the ball with the opposite knee? Cross your center line. Yeah, starting to feel that rolling in your hips more. Keep elbows forward. This should feel good on your low back. That's it. Good. How are you doing? Did you feel a little opening in the low back? It's not feeling squished? Okay, good. All right, come forward. Ball to the left. Step your foot outside the block. Take your right foot way back behind you. Bring one block back under your right hand. Left hand on the knee, elbow out. Wiggle your right foot back until it's long. Good. This arm is straight and stiff and strong. Left hand on the knee, left elbow forward. Good. That brings that shoulder blade forward. Now keep your right arm straight. Push your hips down softly toward the ground. Let the back knee bend, but don't touch the floor. It's going to work your back foot a lot. There we go. Breathe. Good. Now push your ribs into your ball. Round both shoulders forward, elbows out to the side. Turn your right fingers in too. Let your back release while your legs are weight bearing. Who's with me? Feel that? Yeah. Feel the difference? Your foot's working hard. Your legs are working pretty hard. Get your back to work. Good. Turn back. Push with your left leg to straighten. Push the belly down over that leg and round. Put your left hand to the floor if you can reach, or bring your left block to second level. Turn both fingers to face in. Reach the elbows forward. That's it. Feel how that brings your shoulder blades forward? Good. And bring it back up. Very nice. Blocks are going to frame the front foot. Push into your blocks. I want you to pick the foot up. Yes, actually, I want you to do this. Good. Keep the back foot strong. Okay, now send your hips back. You got to squeeze your blocks, don't push them forward. Good, come forward again. Good, push your belly out into the ball, reach your heel back. Bring your knee forward, step back down. Good, and drop your hips a little deeper. Put your back knee down on the floor. Put the top of the back foot on the floor. Good, how are we going?
I love this ball.
You guys, $4. $4 at Walmart. I shouldn't be endorsing Walmart probably. Okay, keep your hips forward. Good, now use your ball, make sure it's in there. I want you leaning the back into the ball so that you're not squishing your low back to shove the hips forward. You're just sitting into the ball more. Now let your hip open a little. Feel like your back knee is kind of dead and you're just dragging with your front foot, dragging the hip open. Feel that the hips come apart more there? Good. Lift your belly a little bit. Round your shoulders forward. Feel the back release and the hips open more. Your front foot should be working hard and your heel can't lift. Your foot needs to be further forward. Do it again. Yes. Now, if you're open enough, you can roll so your inner foot's on the ground and see if you can press through that foot and turn to face forward. That's it. Now roll your right hip back. Knee has to come up before you twist or you're going to hurt your knee. So, there you go. Now keep the quad strong, pushing the knee back and sit into your left hip. Now sit into your ball more. Bring your arm over your head. That's it. Keep your left elbow balanced on the knee. Reach, 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 reach. Come on, that back foot's got to be strong, back knee strong, and bring it back. Good. All right, good. We're going to twist with the ball there. Bring your right elbow to the ball to twist. Stay sitting, hips forward. You can move the top of the back foot down. Left arm in prayer. Use elbow into ball. You got to get your right elbow past the ball. On top of it. There we go. Now when you sit forward, let your left knee open a little bit and try to get your right elbow to roll around the ball to the left. Good. And shrug your right shoulder up to your ear. Feel this open? No, yes, maybe? No? Okay, come back to the middle. Okay, tuck your back toes, press back. All right, step the foot forward, side two. Ball on your other side. Okay, and then step your left foot way back behind you. Come on down. Keep sitting into your ball with the body. Keep your back foot really strong, heel right above toes. Right elbow turns out, your hand is on your knee, and you're pushing here. You're grounding this foot into the floor. You've got pressure here. Good. Left block is right under the shoulder, and you're stiff-armed with your left arm. Then sink into the shoulder blades. Let your ribs and hips drop. Your shoulder will get driven up as gravity pulls the hip down. Yeah, see how that opens your left psoas more? And your back foot should be working hard. Breathe. Now push down with both shoulders. Shoulder blades pull down to bring you up. Good. Now let the shoulders come up as you drop down. Good. Now push down with both shoulders. Push into that knee. Suck the belly back. And then sit down. Good. Feel how that changes the feeling? Now go ahead and use both elbows. Round your shoulders forward over your ball. Drop your head. Good. Now the back is released while the legs are working. Use ribs to push the ball back. Back heel stays high. Good. Elbows forward, drop your head. Let your left hip start dropping forward. There we go. Feel the right hip open more. Bend the front knee. Come on down. Sit into it with your back foot in the mat. Good. Put the back knee down. How are we doing? Softly. Use the foot to put it down. Good. Let's go ahead and sit back for a minute. Use your ribs to push the ball back. Let your head round and drop. You can bring elbows out, fingers forward. Just release for a second. How are we doing? Come forward again. Keep the ball in there. Sit into your ball. Good. Now try to let your back hip start to open. So for most of you, there's going to be a little up and over that you have to do to avoid getting stuck. So before you go up and over, tuck your toes, come up, and then turn to your inner foot. Let's try it this way. Once you're on your inner foot, the foot's got to really be strong. Lift your outer foot and push your knee back by pulling the quad. Then try to sit into that front leg. Good. Hip back. Squish your ball. Yeah, you guys feel the difference here? Easier? Okay, so probably a lot of you are stuck here. Then bring the arm overhead. See if you can balance on your front knee, either with hand or elbow, instead of on your block. Good. Feel that stretch? Okay, see if you can go from here, use your foot, spin back to toes. And then drop the back knee down. You guys feeling how the lunges are different than what maybe you've been doing? Okay, let's try your twist. Your elbow has to cross your center line. How do you get this arm this far across your body? If your shoulder blades are glued to your ribs, you won't. It's not going to go unless you bend your elbow. Your elbow has to come across, so that left shoulder blade has to slide around the ribs. Pull it across. Then put your elbow to your ball. As far across as you can. Then hands in prayer. Now when you sit your hips forward into that right foot, you bring your left shoulder blade more up to the jawline. And push your right hand back with it. Yes, feel it open your left hip more. Good, keep opening your right knee out of the way a little bit. I'm going to tip my block over. And keep letting your left hip revolve forward. Feel the difference? Right leg's doing a lot of work, right? Mm-hmm. All right, bring it back up. Okay. Tuck your back toes. Use the belly to push the ball back. Drop your head down. Breathe. All right, slowly lower the back knee to the floor. Get rid of your ball and step back. Okay. Knees open, tops 50 on the floor. Sit back. If you can sit in here or sit in here. If you can't sit in here, sit however you sit. Get a block. Okay, so are we feeling, when you're in your standing postures, find a way to sit comfortably. Sit on your ball. Sit on your ball. It actually will let you drop into your stretch a little bit, yeah? You don't need a ball, don't sit on your ball. Okay. So, while standing, in all these standing postures, we run through these shapes. One thing should be pretty engaged, maybe two. But then everything else should be really released. So is that coming through? Yes?
Yeah,
no?
with the ball.
With the ball, not really?
You don't feel that with having the support of the ball?
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I definitely feel
it's
it.
just being
Because I'm tight like you.
tight. Okay. So anyway, the point, you give it back here. You get my ball back. So anyway, the point is that even when you're in a standing posture, what you're looking for is the release. Whatever's engaged, holding you up, that stays, and it's probably not going to release because you're going to fall, okay? You need to get calm enough to release the rest of the stuff. All right, we need to bend knees backwards. So let's bring your blocks behind you. We got to stretch quads a little bit. And then grab a cork block. Actually, let's try this on your ball. Sit on your ball with one foot back and the other leg forward. You can use a cork block if you'd rather. That's what we've done in the past. Alright. Okay, if your ankle and your foot are screaming at you, then you just need to stretch more. So sit up higher. Then I'm going to stretch more in this instant. They're being overstretched, so you sit up higher to take care of that. Okay, now this foot needs to be able to move. This knee needs to be able to lift. So if you've got it way back here and it's just stuck, unstick it, bring it forward a little. Okay? Alright, then your hands are going to go back behind you, up forward and roll to the front of your ball. If you're on blocks, turn them long ways and sit toward the front of your blocks. Turn this way. And then bring your hands back. I want your thumb on the inside edge of the block, your knuckles right on top. So fingers, if you lifted them, would be forward. And then thumbs on the inside of your blocks. Let's see. Okay, now get your hips more forward so your tail is under. There we go, good. We're going to press into your hands, pinch the shoulders together so that your ribs get sent forward. Then push into your left foot, push into the top of your right foot and come up. Good, I guess with the ball I didn't think about fixing a roll away. And then come back down. Your ball moves, yeah. The ball will move, so you can use a block if you'd rather. Now roll shoulders forward. Here's where the ball is nice. Push with your left foot to come back a little ways. Yep, good. Now keep the shoulders rolled forward. Reach the knee in and to the right. Push your body to your right. So you've got a diagonal. Your right knee's going left, your body's going right. Now really pinch your right thumb into the block. Roll your right shoulder blade back. Your left arm kind of pushes to straight. You come a little up and over, and then lean into that right hand. Feel that stretch in your right hip, right quad. Low back should be fine. It should not be squished. Okay, come back up. Let's go to the left side. Heel toe your foot a little left. You're going to go to the left with your ribs. Take your left knee to the right. Roll the left shoulder back. Push with your right arm to bring that shoulder up and over as you twist. Left knee across to the right. Good, and then back to the middle. Okay, let's make it a little harder. Heel toe the left foot back. See if you can cross your left ankle past your right knee. If not, then don't worry about it. And if you're on a block, you're going to move your hips over so that your butt's off the right side of the block a little bit. Move your foot over a little. Try to toe heel it over so there's space between foot and hip. Now you're going to lean to the right. Your left foot is going to keep your right knee trapped left. Your left hand comes across to hold onto the shin. Now lean to your right. Let your right hip actually fall off the right side of the ball or fall off the right side of the block. Right hand is now really strong. Roll your right shoulder blade back. Good. You guys feel that stretch in the hip? Keep letting your right hip drop to your heel. Drop off the right side of the block. The right hand is your boundary. The right shoulder blade rolling back gets that shoulder blade up the side of the ribs while your hip drops forward and down. You guys feel that? Good. Bring it back up. Bring the left hand back. uncross the left knee. One more time. Pinch the shoulders together. Roll them back to send ribs forward. If your thumbs pinch, you should feel a good stretch from the chest through the bicep all the way down. Yeah? Right here, this line. Chest through bicep all the way to the thumb. Thumbs pinching in, shoulders pinched together. Push with your foot to come up. Good. Keep shoulders pinched. Good. Now hips under, tail under as you come down. Good. And pull that right foot out. If you have to come forward first, you can. Good. See if you can pull your left foot back right here from where you're at. Easier said than done. Good. If not, you just come out of it. Then you put one foot back while you're sitting up, and then you walk back, right? Okay. Tail under. So if you have a feeling like you're crushing your low back, because this hip flexor, I'll show you on this side. If this hip flexor and muscles in front of the hips stay tight, they keep your pelvic bowl pulled forward, and this just gets crushed. So that isn't it. You're going to need to sit your hips higher or bring your hands higher or both, right? You have to be able to get a curvature in your low back here. Okay, now roll the shoulders back, pinch them together. Right foot right next to left knee. Press down through your arms, keep pinching shoulders. That's the shelf for your ribs. Push through your foot, push through the top of the left foot. Keep pinching shoulders together. I feel like your right foot is pulling back on the mat to send you forward a little. Then tail under, low belly in, and come right back down. Good, how are we doing? Okay? All right, your hips should be pretty far forward on your blocking end or ball, whatever you're on. Lean to the left. Roll your left shoulder back. Really squeeze your thumb into the block, that left thumb. Pull the shoulder blade toward the spine. Let your left hip fall off the left side of the ball or block. If you want to add, you can drop the right knee over. Push with your right arm so that right shoulder blade is coming up and over, pushing your rib cage down and left. Yes. Breathe. Suck the belly back. Good. And bring it up with the right knee if you can down. Come back. Switch heel toe right foot out to the right. Lean into your right hand. Your left arm stiffens to bring your left shoulder blade up and over. Roll the right shoulder back. Try to take the right knee across to the left. Lift your outer right foot. Suck your belly back. Yes. Feel that stretch. Good. And bring it back. Okay, let's do one more. Roll the shoulders back. Try to straighten arms. Your ribs will come forward, but don't use your low back. Press through the foot. Keep the shoulders pinched. Keep the thumbs pinching into blocks. Really roll shoulders back. If you want to add, you can drop your head back into that little shelf you made. Take the head up. Bring your hips under as you come down. Very good. Okay, now bring your right foot across the left. And then heel toe your right foot a little back to the right, using your heel to push that left knee across to the right. Okay? Hips are off the left side of your block or ball, and your left foot is wide enough so your left hip can fall toward it without pushing it. Bring your right hand across. Maybe you need to take your block further back or wider. Okay? Roll the left shoulder back. Your hand is strong. Your hand is pushing into the block, but not enough to get the shoulder down. You want the shoulder blade to slide up the ribs. You want the ribs to fall to the left, but your hand is strong enough to create a boundary. You want your hip to fall to the left and then twist. The belly pulled back. Good. And bring it back to the center. How are we doing? You guys getting that? Or squishing low backs. Good. Roll forward on your ball. If you're not on a ball, now you have to have a ball. Okay, so take your foot out. If you don't already have a ball, get a ball. Now your blocks are probably crooked too, so straighten out your blocks. Okay. You're going to put your hips on the ball. The ball's a little deflated here, so if you're doing this at home and you're on a soccer ball or something, it's going to feel a little different. Okay, and then you're going to bring your hands back. So the only way that works is with feet on the ground, hands on the ground. So we call those little crab walks or something, right? You can leave your hands on the floor, or you can put your hands on the blocks. Okay? If your hands are on the blocks, your thumbs dig in. Bring your feet forward. Now roll your shoulders back. Let your hips release. Don't fall down in front of the ball. Now roll forward on your ball. Good. Keep your shoulders pinched together. Good. Now roll back. Use your feet. Good. Do it again. Roll forward. Keep shoulders pinched together. Keep shoulders pinched together. Good. And then roll back. One more time. Keep shoulders pinched together. When you're back here, it's easy. Now, if you go so far that you lose that, then you went too far. Keep hips rolling forward. Keep shoulders pinched. Keep shoulders pinched. Good. You guys feel the difference there and what we usually do? And then bring it back. Control. It's all control. Not squeezing, tightening, locking, but keep one muscle group engaged while the other is free to do something else. Yeah, you guys feel that? Good. And then roll back. Now roll your shoulders forward. Suck the belly back. Keep shoulders rolled forward, bend your knees. How far can you go without your shoulders rolling back? Different. And then roll back. Do it again. Keep shoulders rolled forward, head down. How far can you go? Shoulders rolled forward. Now keeping shoulders rolled forward, can you deepen it by bending elbows back with shoulders still forward? Don't let your shoulders go back. Don't let that happen. Yeah. All right, and bring it down. Good. Hands to the floor, walk it forward. So you're sitting right in front of your ball. Good. All right, you guys feeling some of that control in the upper back and shoulders different too? So we do this stretch all the time where we have hands on blocks, and we roll shoulders forward and bend elbows back. And I'm watching a lot of you, when you go to bend your elbows back, your shoulders just go with them. But that's a different exercise. Right? So that control of keeping the muscles one way while other muscles pull the other is what we're working on. All right, get rid of your ball, get rid of your blocks. Turn and face me. Open your legs out to the sides. You're going to sit. I don't care what your split is. All right, if you can't sit upright in your split, then don't. Put your hands behind you. We're going to come here anyway. Okay, we're going to try to relate hips and ribs. All right, so I have an 80-year-old man. He can't sit forward in the split at all, and he can do this following exercise. All right, you're going to leave your hands behind you with fingers facing forward like you're chilling on the beach. Okay, yep. And whatever your usual split is, make your legs a little less wide than that. So I don't care if you have a full 180-degree pose normally, you're going to go less. Okay. Now, roll your legs forward. Not the feet so much, the legs. The groin should roll forward, and then let it release back. It wants to roll back. Why? Because your pelvic bowl is back. So those go together. Now, roll the legs forward. Now, roll your shoulder blades back, pinch them together, and push down in the floor to bring your ribs up. Keep the legs rolled forward. That sends your pelvic bowl a little forward. I don't want you to use low back. I want you to use upper back and groin. Good. Now let your legs roll back. Let your hips fall back. Let your shoulders roll forward and sink your ribs. Yeah. You guys feel that? Okay. Now legs should want to roll back because hips are rolled back. Okay. Roll legs forward. Don't tighten glutes. Don't use low back. Just roll legs forward a little bit. Roll the shoulders back. Then start pinching them together and push down with your hands to send your ribs forward. Good. So your low back ends up arched, but it's not squished. Yeah? Okay, now roll the legs back, let them release, let the hips roll back. Shoulders come up as they go forward, which makes space in your low back. That same concept with the lats there. Feel that? One more time. Legs roll forward, just so. It's a positional thing. It's not a work. Okay? Pinch the shoulders together and then slide them down the spine. Trying to keep them together. Push with hands, lift chin just enough. Okay? Now roll the legs forward with a little more energy. Roll shoulders back, lifting ribs up. Push down with hands. Feel your upper back muscles a little more. Good. Now roll legs back, let hips drop back. Shrug shoulders up, then forward. Feel more space in your back and more space between rib cage and pelvis generally. More length here. Keep that length here when we do the following exercise. Bring your back arm, my right, your left, across the body. Turn your fingers to face this way, the back hand. Now you're going to keep heavy in your left sitting bone, your right sitting bone, and roll the other hip forward until that knee will touch the ground. Keep your back foot loose, keep the feet loose. Keep going, the back knee's got to touch. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Yep. The back hip stacks diagonally on top of the front hip, but then let it loose. So this back knee is heavy into the ground. Use your hands, walk your right hand further, your left hand diagonally away from me, behind your leg. Your other elbow bends in close to you. Then once you've got a little reach happening, stick your hand to the floor. You shouldn't be at your greatest reach. Okay? Then turn fingers to face in and reach your elbow further, bringing the shoulder blade off the back. You guys feel that stretch in the side? Mm-hmm. Your back knee is stuck. Your other hand is putting pressure to support you. Drop the hip. Good. And then bring it back up. Good. Your back arm is going to roll up and over. This hip's dead. Let it flop back. Then you're going to sit in this sitting bone. Let it roll across. If you're really tight, this hip wants to lift up and over and avoid the stretch. Sit into it. Pull the belly across. Stay loose and let it roll. Good. That's it. Okay. Now you're going to bring your right, my left is going to reach away from you and then get stuck. So you still have some energy you can push the floor away with. Turn fingers in. Pull the floor to you to bend your elbow forward past the hand, purposely pulling your shoulder blade up the side of the ribs. At the same time, think of pushing your transverse abs out like your belly's going to squish the leg you're coming toward, and even let that knee bend. Don't pull it to bend, just let it bend if it's natural. Yeah, you guys feel that? You should be totally releasing that bottom hip, both hips. Hips are like for someone else's. And then bring it back up. Good, now let's just try to get the hips to roll smoothly. Let your back hip drop to the mat. I got a lot of weight in this arm. Then the arm comes around. Let the hip roll. I want them loose. I want this hip to be totally loose. And then come back. You're just going to roll back and forth. And go at your own pace. If you already know how to do this, you can add a little twist in your ribs with your hands. And then come back. When the back knee touches down, you're there. That back knee's got to touch the ground. Back knee's got to touch down. There you go. Once the back knee touches down, think about your ribs getting longer. Okay? Yes, there you go. Nope. So look up here for a minute, Cindy. This can't happen. I don't want to see the shoulder. I want to see the shoulder go away from your hip. Turning your back to me. Yes, so turn around. There you go. Now bring your left shoulder to your jawline. Up. There we go. Feel that stretch a little more. And keep the back knee heavy away from that. So those are going apart a little more. Good. Bring it back. Let's feel that a little further. Everybody go to your left, my right. Hand to the shoulder, like this. Now reach your elbow like you're scooping it forward and away. And really lean into the back hand, but reach the elbow across. Push your belly out onto that leg you're leaning toward and sit heavy into that IT band sitting bone. Feel the ribs open there more. There we go. And come back. Good. Feel the difference a little bit? You have to get that side open. All right, good. Let's go toward parking lot. Well, for us, parking lot. Good. Hands walk behind you. Now use your hands to steer your ribs into a twist away from me. And then think of pushing the transverse abs out like pregnant abs and the back hip forward. Your front knee should automatically bend if you're laying the belly toward that thigh now. Then drop your chest into the shoulder blades. Okay, then push the floor away, roll back, keeping your back knee on the ground. So suck the belly back like you're going to untwist. Then roll back into your twist, push the belly toward the front leg, drop into shoulder blades. Then push ground away, ribs back, roll back. So it's a little rolling back and forth. Okay? Roll forward, belly pushing out. The front knee should bend naturally, organically. Drop chest into shoulders. Pull your low belly longer, like you're pulling the ribs forward out of the hips. If you're really flexible, you can even go to elbows here and actually pull on the mat to pull yourself out of that back hip. Come back to center. You guys feel that length? Good. Go the other way. Twist. Let the back knee touch down. That's important. If your back knee doesn't touch down, it doesn't anchor anywhere. So when you go to pull this away, there's no anchor back here. So they can just stay stuck together and all stay tight. So the back knee's got to touch and be heavy there. Yeah? Okay. Then go ahead and use your hands, especially your left hand. Pull your elbow into your ribs and then steer the rib cage into a soft twist. Drop your chest into your shoulder blades. Push your transverse abs out, trying to bring the belly toward that thigh. Then you would naturally, organically bend without you having to pull it. Good. And then push hands back, ribs open, belly back. And then drop back down. If you're really easy here, instead of doing it with your hands high, you can pull with elbows to pull ribs forward. Pull with low belly, and then push with elbows to bring ribs up. So either on your hands or on your elbows. Get that rocking back feeling where the hip opens, and then rocking forward, belly out, sink ribs. Push with hands, ribs back, rock back, keep the back knee down, rock forward. Okay, come back to center. Good. You're feeling a little bit of space between rib cage and pelvis, between hips. All right. Let's go for a little deeper groin stretch then. Open the knees a little bit wider. Open the feet a little bit wider. Good. If you can't do this without being sent back, you're going to have to stretch one groin at a time. You're fine. Open your foot back up. Yes, you will. Send back is like, I would really like to hold on to something and not fall. Okay. That's tough. Okay. So if you can sit upright and you're here, your pelvic bowl may be pinned back a little bit because this is tight, but we're going to work on bringing that forward. Okay? All right. I don't mean to abuse you. All right. Walk your hands out in front. Don't go to your furthest reach where your hips are like, I don't want to go there, and they're pulling back. That's counterproductive. Go to where you can really touch the ground. Like I'm here, I'm easy, and I can even lean forward and bend my elbows. Okay? If that doesn't exist for you and you have one leg in, you're going to go kind of away from that groin. You have to let it roll to the ground. Feel how that stretches? Yeah. So you're literally going to roll your pelvic bowl forward on only one side. The rest of us are going to try to roll it forward on two sides. this, because if the hips roll forward, this stretches at the same time. That's why if you can't get forward, you'll do one at a time. Yeah? Okay. So here we go. Hands stick somewhere. And it better not be too far away. Start by pushing yourself back. Your pelvic bowl drops back. That lessens the stretch. This is easy. Now, notice if your glutes are squeezing together and trying to scoop your hips under, you don't want that to happen. Okay? Now you're going to go the other way. So legs will roll just forward a little bit, just soft. Then pull with your hands, bringing your ribs forward. Pinch your shoulder blades together and pull the ribs forward, chin up a little bit. Try to lengthen forward through. Yeah, feel how that brings your pelvic bowl forward? Now, dig your heels into the mat. Bend your knees a little bit and pull with your feet on the mat. Good. And then roll the ribs further forward. Feel the groin stretch? Okay, let the legs drop down. Push with hands and roll back. Okay, so time for you back there. You're going to do pretty much the same thing. You're more on a diagonal. You pull the ribs forward, you roll, and you just keep rolling the leg forward. Don't worry about bending and pulling for you so much. Feel the groin? Good. Okay, here we go. 2 more. You can go at your own pace too. You're going to push with hands to spread shoulders, and it should feel like your ribs go up and back. Not squishing lumbar spine down and back. There's an up to it, so your belly lifts up a little bit without squeezing glutes, yeah? Now you just made some space. Now you're going to pull shoulders together, keeping ribs up and forward. Roll legs forward a little bit, and pinch your shoulder blades together and shrug them up. That's putting more weight forward. Feel the groin stretch deepen? Now if you want to add, you can pull with your heels to pull the knees up and roll further forward. Feel your groin stretching? Okay, now let the knees drop. Push with hands, pick ribs up, hips roll back incident to that, and feel your sitting bones. You'll roll to the back of them, but they stay apart. Okay, now let's pay attention to sitting bones. Pull shoulder blades forward, roll to the front of your sitting bones more, roll legs forward. Ribs go forward and up. Now make it more fluid. Drop your head in, push your ribs back, roll back. Swim through, bring your chin forward and up. There we go. Drop your head in, round back, and up. Think up with the belly. Then drop forward, scoop through, and back up again. Good. You guys feel that a little bit in the groin? All right, turn to the side, the way we did before. Put your back knee down, bend your front knee in. Modified pigeon. Back knee has to touch the mat. Your foot's going to be on a diagonal. If you have a full, easy pigeon, you can move it forward. Keep your foot on that diagonal. Roll your hips away from me, sit back. Back knee still in the mat. You should feel a little stretch here, nothing major. And then you're going to roll across, try to put the back hip into the ground. And then roll back. Good. So you should be heavy on this hip you're rolling on. Roll back hip to the mat, and then roll it back. Good. Roll back hip toward the mat, toward your heel, and then roll it back. Now, instead of using your hips to make this roll happen, pretend hips are dead, use your hands and upper body to make this roll happen. So pull shoulder blades together behind ribs. Ribs come forward toward the thigh, push the belly out. Now roll using your hands to steer hips and ribs to me, and then use hands to steer away from me. Feel the difference a little bit. Roll forward, steer to me, and then away from me. If this is new, think of making an L. Push your belly out, bring the belly onto the thigh, get really heavy there. Then, that's your forward. Now your perpendicular line is to go straight sideways, roll across toward me, keeping belly out. Now straight line, roll back across away from me, then pull belly back. Feel that corner you're turning? Forward, roll to me, roll away from me, and then back. Now use your transverse abs. When you come forward, you push your belly out. Want your belly to try to touch the thigh. Then keep it pushed out when you come to me. Keep this hip down, away from me, and then back. Good. Feel the difference? So you're actually making the muscles you're rolling across separate here a little bit. Your femur is like a foam roller for all those muscles in the hip. All right, once you've done that a few times and you feel it, you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to bring your elbows down a little bit away from me with your left elbow on the front of your right knee, and you're going to pull a little bit on your own knee with your elbow and shrug shoulder forward. The back knee has to stay anchored. Okay, feel that stretch in the side? Yeah? Ribs coming away from the pelvis. Drop your head. Okay, now maybe that's enough for you and you feel length in the back hip and a stretch in the front hip. If not, you're going to come more to the middle with elbows and get on top of the back knee more like a full pigeon. Good. Keep the hip on the ground though. And now you're going to find elbows planting. You can pick hands up and pull to bring the ribs forward. Back knee, back hip stay down when you bring your ribs forward. Yeah. And you can play with this. You can roll back and forth here using your elbows to move you around. As long as you're starting to feel low belly come out of the hips. Now wherever you're at, I want you to push your belly down so that your ribs are coming toward the shin you're on. Think of pushing belly out. Yep. And if you're on the thigh, fine, push belly out toward the thigh. And then roll your back hip more toward the mat. Good. You guys feel that stretch? Now breathe. Breathing's good. Good job. If you're easy here, you can bring elbows wide, put your forehead down. And bring it back up. All right, roll back to the middle. Open your other leg out to the side. Good. You guys getting this a little deeper than pigeon usually is? And maybe a little nicer. Okay? Roll toward this side. Let your back knee just plop to the mat. And now when it comes to you. Good. Better. Okay? From there, hands come around. Keeping the back knee plopped. Let this go. This massive muscle right here, this can't be engaged. I don't want medial glutes. Okay? Use your hands to softly revolve the body into your twist. Your hands also push enough to keep ribs lifted up a little bit off the pelvis. Don't try to do that from core. Do that with hands and arms. And then find your twist. Good. Breathe. Stay there. You guys feel that stretch? Out of the hip flexor, out of the psoas. Almost down with me, I promise. All right. From here, go ahead and pull the knee across to you. The front knee. Your knee I want outside your hip. So if you look straight down at hip and knee, the knee should be wider than the hip by a little bit. Okay. Okay, now bring your foot in just a touch. Especially if you're not real flexible. If you bring it too far, you have nowhere to roll the hip to. So not too far, just enough to be able to move. Your ankles should be long, no flexed foot. Okay, then using your hands, think of your belly coming forward and pushing out into the thigh. I'd actually love it if you could touch the belly to the thigh. You can use your ball for this too. This is another application for the ball. And then you're going to roll across the hip you're on. So you should feel this little massive muscle roll heavy on the mat, then roll away from me and back. Now think L, or perpendicular line. Belly pushes straight forward onto the thigh. Keep the belly pushed out. Then it rolls across toward me. Then it goes straight back across on the same line, and then your hands push and the belly comes back a little. Your back knee and foot are soft, back hip is soft. Belly pushes forward. Roll across the hip to me. Roll across the hip away from me, and then belly goes back. Good, you guys feeling that rolling on the stuff here, okay? Belly pushes forward, roll across to me. You basically just roll off your IT band. Roll all the way out past your IT band with the femur. Sit back away from me. There you go. Feel you're on that IT. That's the one that runs down the outside of the leg. Now when your belly comes forward, you're still on your IT. Then when you roll to me, you roll off that IT. There we go. Belly kind of rubbing across the thigh. Good. Roll back the other way, right onto that IT, and then sit down. Yep, good. Forward, on the IT still. Then when you roll off of it, it literally feels like you just rolled off of a little ledge or something. And then roll back to it. Good, and this is good for you to go home too, with that hip. Yeah, you guys feeling that? So you're trying to use your body like a little foam roller. This will work for you. I don't care how deep your pigeon is, it's going to get deeper if you do this. Okay? Alright, stay forward. Or stay in, whatever that is, back hip forward. And then you're going to bring your elbow, my left, your right, to the knee. So a little baby twist here. Your back knee has to stay heavy. Your back hip can't come with this elbow. Right? And then you're going to very softly, and I say softly because if you pull too hard, the back contracts, and all these muscles that run, like your lats and your obliques that run on top of the pelvis and the ribcage will get locked up, and you're locked in here. So you pull real soft. Think of shrugging shoulders, lifting low belly, and you're trying to feel the ribs come away from the pelvis in here while the back knee stays stuck to the mat. Let your head drop so your back muscles will release. Good, so you should feel a stretch in your back hip flexor, my left, your right. Now a little pressure in your left elbow, my right, kicks up your left ribs a little bit and gives you that little bit of twist. You guys feel that? Mm-hmm. Then pull forward. Good. Okay, if that's enough stretch, stay there. If you want more, walk your elbows to me more so you're squaring off over your shin. Okay, and then tuck your back knee under so you're more on top of it. And if you want even more, you can walk the hips back. Okay, and then you're gonna dig elbows into the mat. Keep your back knee and your back hip down. Pull a little bit, real soft. Trying to bring your ribs forward out of the hips. Yes, making space. Think of an accordion that's getting longer, ribs open. Good, and then you can roll back and forth here using elbows to help steer your upper body back and forth, and hips move just incident to that movement. If you feel like you need a little more movement, a little more rolling, and then get your stretch back, ribs forward. If you want to go to elbows wide and forehead on hands, you can. Think of pushing your transverse abs out, those are those middle abs, into the shin that you're on or the thigh that you're on. And feel how that starts opening the front of the stretching hip as well as the back and side. Yep. Good. And then roll it up. Oh, we go. All right, bring the legs in. Remember, it's going to end since we've been using the ball a little bit. Anyway, use your ball and grab your bolster too. Actually, we haven't used anything with blocks and ball. Let's leave bolster out of it and just use ball. Ball under your upper back. And start far enough forward on your mat. We're going to have ball under upper back, but then we're going to roll back and have ball under hips where you normally put bolster. So we're going to do the whole thing with just your ball. So make sure you got enough mat here that your head isn't on the wood like mine is. Can't feel that underneath my hair, but. Okay, so start with your ball under your upper back. Upper back. So come forward. Start with ball under your upper back. Yeah. All right, tailbone under. Hips are on the floor. Feet forward. Okay. Hands behind your head. Open your elbows. Keep fingers interlaced, and you should feel your shoulder blades come together on the back. They come together and make a little wall. Lay back over your ball. Good. Now bring your elbows up. Feel shoulder blades come apart. Good. Now bring the elbows back open. Feel shoulder blades come together. Now actually pull shoulder blades together. Good. Now bring elbows up. Shoulder blades try to pull together and down behind the spine, even with elbows up. Then use your hands to pull your head up, leave your neck long, chin in. Good. And then low belly helps pull you up slowly, just a little bit at a time. Hips do not tuck and meet you, they stay forward. As you come forward with your head, walk feet forward, heel toe in actually, we're going to add knees open. As your pubic bone reaches forward, your low back hikes up a little bit. Keep the ribs in and down. That protects your low back. Good. You okay there? Nobody's hurting in your low back? You can try the same movement with knees open. If you feel your low back compress, bring the knees back up. Go back to where you were. Open elbows. Pull your belly down to protect your low back. Start laying back super slow. Do not go to the point where your low back compresses. Your ribs will open a little bit. Your belly has to stay pulled in. Open elbows. If your low back compresses at all, knees up, feet wider, and low back, and push a little with feet to pull low belly. Okay. Now you're going to bring elbows up. Squeeze shoulder blades together in the upper back. You'll feel them dig into your ball a little bit. And then use that leverage to push your head forward, but keep shoulder blades dug into the ball. Now feel your middle abs. They almost feel like they're pulling out of the front of the hips, knees open. Keeping your knees open, use just the core to roll forward. Core includes the serratus on the sides, the upper back muscles. Keep pubic bone forward. Once you're forward, reach the elbows forward, spread the shoulders off the back. Good. You guys feeling this? Okay, bring shoulder blades back in together and down. So they're not back into your neck, they're down toward the ball. That gives you a pivot point, like a crowbar, so you're going to come up and over as you lay back. When you get halfway back and your neck is parallel to the ground, let your rib cage, your floating ribs, open. Then lay the rest of the way back. Let your elbows open. So the upper spine has to bend too. Lift your chin up. Try to put the top of the head on the ground more. Good. Now if your whole movement was lift my chin up right away and crunch the neck instead of rounding the thoracic spine back, that isn't it at all. We keep the neck long until the thoracic spine rounds. Then we let the cervical spine lead it. Now bring your elbows up. Pull your shoulder blades down to the ball and behind the spine, behind the ribs. See how that opens your ribs more. Use that point, that pulling into the ball, and bring the head up up and over that spot. Middle abs drawing in. And come forward. Keep pubic going forward, belly pulling down. Open your feet, open your toes wide, open your feet wide, keep your heels together. Bring heels up and forward, a little bit of footwork. Good. Press through the pinky side of the foot, keep heels pressing up and forward. Suck your low belly back. Okay, now do the same thing. That doesn't mean squeeze your glutes and sitting bones together and push your pubic going to the ceiling. Now chin abs pop out. That's a different thing. It's pressure with feet, which is quads, feet, low belly. Shoulder blades together. Lay back over the ball. Keep your heels reaching up and forward. Let the ribs open. Lay back over your ball. Open elbows last. And feel shoulder blades together behind upper spine. Bring elbows up. Shoulder blades go right back to where they were even when elbows were wide. Hands pull the back of the head. Think of hands being more toward the top of the head. And rounding up. How are we doing? Feel core. Differentiated core. Okay, bring the knees back up. Okay, walk your feet back. You're going to press with the feet. Roll back until the ball is under your lumbar spine now. Good. Too high in the mat. Okay, once ball is under the lumbar spine, you're going to walk your shoulder blades together on the mat. If you do not have a plow practice, we did a lot of arcing in the spine today. Even though you shouldn't have been contracting the low back, you may have, which would be bad. You're going to bring your knees in.
How far down where should your ball be positioned right now?
Right now, keep your ball just above your lumbar spine. We're going to try plow. In a minute, we're going to take it down to lumbar, but keep it a little high. Okay? And then walk your shoulder blades together on the ground, palms facing up, elbows close to your ball on your mat. Then try to bring one knee in at a time. You actually should have to kind of use your core to pick the knees up and in. Your knees are going to come next to your ribs, feet above the knees. Notice if your feet are really wide and your knees are pulled in, do the opposite. Feet in, knees open. Okay, and let your knees drop. Now, if you're close to plow, or if you have a plow, this won't be hard. Your hands come to your hips, and you're going to use your hands to help roll the hips up. Knees have to stay loose and drop it. And then your knees can drop next to your head. Okay? If you don't have a plow, you're going to work your hips up. Try to keep working the ball up the back more, propping yourself further into your plow. And then release back into your ball. Okay? And let weight come into the sternum and the upper body here. Okay? If you do have a plow and you can push the hips up, go ahead and do that. Still let weight come into sternum and upper body. Let the knees hang toward you. Breathe. If you're just working on getting your ball further up the spine, further up the spine, further up the spine, and resting into it, that's where you're at. You're fine. Wherever you rest, bring your arms over your head and breathe there. If you have your full plow and you've pushed the hips up and over, try to let knees drop next to your head and breathe. If you want to go further, we'll tuck the toes and reach back and bring one leg to the ceiling and open up your hips. So if you bring a right leg up, your hips are going to open and face right. Reach through that leg and then bring it back down. Good. You can do this with arms overhead or arms to the ceiling. Left leg up. Open your hip and reach your right heel back as your left leg reaches up. And bring it back down. One more. Right leg up. Open the hip. Bring it down. Left leg up. Open the hip. And bring it down. Good. Take your ball, put it out as high as you can under the ribs. Start folding your legs toward your face as you roll down. Knees a little outside the body. And then hands can come down. When you can't roll any further without hips falling below the ball, then bend one knee, keep one foot towards you, drop the other to the ground, and come down. How do we go? A little further into plow than usual, I hope. Yeah. Okay? Now take your ball, roll it down past your lumbar spine even, so that it's at the tailbone. If you're here in the studio, when you're looking at your mirror on the ceiling, you should actually see some ball coming out from below you. Pull the knees in. Good. If the last one didn't release your low back, this definitely should. How are we doing? You can take your ball another inch or two down, just a touch. That's good. Yeah. Put that low back round. No. Okay, put it back around. It should feel good. It should feel like your lumbar spine is getting
It's too low.
just too low. Then stay there. Okay. Pull. It should, like I said, it should feel good. This should not. Nothing should hurt. Keep your knees outside your ribs and your feet should be aimed in. The opposite orientation, foot outside knee, means the front of the hips really holding, which means the back of the hips taking some stress. Let's go ahead and try to actually pull your feet together. See if you can reach your hands to your outer foot and interlace your fingers. Pull your feet in toward you and try to bring your elbows on top of shins. And push down, or I guess forward a little with elbows, as you softly pull feet toward you. And then just really softly use your hands to rock hips side to side. Slow, that low back release. Again, this should feel good, not bad. You good? Okay. All right, good. Perfect. Now, uninterlaced fingers, hold on to the outer arches of your feet. And then keeping your elbows anchored to the feet or the knees, pull the feet apart a little bit so heels end up right over knees. Keep pulling down to the mat softly. Let your low back release. You can do the same thing here where you try to rock one knee to the ground and then the other. If your knee can touch the ground, keep rolling toward it. Good. Good. So that low back release. Good. All right. Go ahead and bring your right leg forward so you can touch the mat. Right arm reaching back, rested on the floor. You're going to slide your right foot out to the right, diagonally out. Good, and then keep your left elbow anchored on top of your left knee. Maybe you keep the leg folded in half. If you want to go further, bring it up and out. So you have a diagonal split. Now reach through the right leg. Good, how are we doing? Bring it back in. Hand to the outer foot, elbow on top of the knee, if you can. Keeping the knees wide and the feet in. Left leg forward, find the mat. Left knee is open. Left arm back, let it flop and rest. Okay, and then slide your left foot out to the left. Good, maybe that's enough stretch in the hip for you. If you want more, counter open right leg out and right. Maybe elbow has to go inside of the knee to keep it open. Good, breathe. And bring it back in. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and roll it out. Actually, one more thing here. Pull your right knee up into the armpit, let your left knee drop open, and then switch. It should make a little half circle in your low back. Keep the hands on the knees as you roll back and forth with this. Should feel good and loose in the low back. So hold on to your knees, feet in, knees outside the ribs, near the armpits. Pull your right knee up to your right armpit. Let your left knee get pulled open a little. Pull your left knee up to your left armpit. Good, so it's not a forward and back in the hips. Your knees stay in. Your hip flexors stay at 1 degree of flexion. It's a knee up. Good, all right, one foot at a time to the floor. Good, pick up hips, take the ball out. Put the ball just under the head and neck. Legs out in front. They're done, they should be happy. Arms up, let shoulders drop, and then keeping the shoulders dropped to the mat, your chin should be down, your eyes forward because of the ball. Want your arms to drop back behind the ball. Let elbows bend out to the sides. Shoulder blades should feel like they're dropping together behind the spine toward the floor. Breathe. One more deep breath here. I want your ribs to open softly as you inhale. Think of very softly pushing your chin down and your neck back into the ball and pull your low belly out of the front of the hips. And then let that go. One more. Good. You're going to keep your chin softly back, just real soft though. And then try to feel the serratus, the muscles under the armpit here, pulling the shoulder blades down the side of the ribs as you bring the arms up, the neck is back, and the shoulder blades wrap forward. And then get rid of your ball once arms are up, lay flat. You survived an hour and a half of a very different version of the class. Inhale long, soft, even breath. Hold that air in. Don't breathe. Keep the air in. Soften. What's tense that doesn't need to be. Let the air leak out as slow as you possibly can. Do that again. Inhale. Long, soft, even, calm breath. Try to roll your eyes back to the middle of the forehead. They'll feel like they're crossing and rolling back. You should feel muscles in the face. Don't breathe, you still got that air in. Let your jaw release, it's not helping the eyes. And then as you exhale, let your eyes release away from that center point. They'll spread wide and feel spreading across your forehead, the brow, the bridge of the nose, the base of the tongue. Let the jaw spread too. Same breath one more time, and then I will leave you at peace. Inhale long, soft, eyes cross and roll to the back of the third eye. Keep a strong focus there with jaw release. And then as your breath leaks out slowly, let the eyes slowly release from that gaze. Forehead and head muscles releasing. Cheeks, jaw releasing. Let everything go. That release starts flowing down to chest, shoulders, hips. Big soft and calm. You want to stay in corpse for 3. Let's try to start deepening the breath again, just elongating the inhale, don't rush. And then elongate the exhale through your nose. When you think you're empty, exhale through your nose just a touch longer and feel your ribcage close in a little bit toward each other and toward the lungs. Do that again, long breath in through the nose, calm. Sip in a little extra air. And exhale through your nose as long as you can. When you think you're empty, exhale a little more through your nose. Do not close off your throat. Good. This time open fingers, open toes, really open palms, but keep your chest soft, arms soft. Alright. And inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Keep toes spreading. Hold that air in. Sink your low belly, but keep your ribs open. Pull the shoulders down into the floor and down away from the ears, down the bottom. And then exhale. Let the ribs drop away from the shoulders. Keep hands back. One more breath. Inhale. Stretch. And then exhale. Bring your arms up. Keep exhaling through your nose till your ribs fully close and integrate. And bring arms forward, chin to the chest, and you can either roll up and reintegrate the body, which is what I'm going to do first. If you don't want to do that, we'll lay back down. And then just try to bend your knees and round forward. If you want to get up the more traditional way, to knees, stack hips, stack ribs, roll into one side. Bring the top leg forward, top arm down, and press yourself back up. Good. How are we doing? Good. Yeah? Good. Alright. Good job. Do you have any questions?